Hi, I'm Larry Mendte. Welcome to Jersey Matters. On this week's show, looks like the kids aren't going back to school after all. One by one, New Jersey school districts are announcing they will start in the fall with remote learning. We'll talk with Roger Leone, Superintendent of Newark Schools, New Jersey's largest school district. COVID-19 patients are suffering serious side effects after recovery. And now New Jersey has a brand new center just for their treatment. Paterson, New Jersey is at the center of the fight over mail-in voting after 4 are charged with voter fraud. We'll talk with Paterson Mayor Andre Saya. And oh no, the lantern flies are in New Jersey. We'll talk with the experts about what you can do to fight the invasion. And now, my interview with Roger Leone, Newark Superintendent of Schools. Tell me how you came to the decision to go all remote when that had not been where you were headed all along.
Yeah, so over the last 6 months, one of the constants that we have actually experienced has been change. And so one of the things that we did in preparation for the school year is did a survey of our staff. Our principals returned on the 3rd of August. They began to outline plans based on a protocol that we began during the tail end of the spring. And then we sent consent forms to our parents as it related to getting a sense of where they were with our return to school this September and providing them the options of actually being in person or remote. So we analyzed all of that information and then ended in answering one very important question. Knowing that the plans were in place, knowing that teachers understood that we needed them back in person, and obviously knowing that parents were excited and students as well as that for that opportunity, the assessment of where we were in making the final decision. Could we, in fact, with all of the protocols, provide the safest experience for not only the students and the staff? Upon making all of the analysis of where we were, how far we've come, and knowing what we needed to do, the best opportunity was to actually put a delay on the in-person return, build confidence as we begin to phase in the work into the school year. So that's what pretty much most of September is going to provide for us. And then go and make an assessment as we get closer to November as to how we're actually going to proceed with everyone.
So you're saying the majority is on board with your decision? Of all interested parties, of all vested parties, the majority is on board?
Everyone is interested in making sure that we actually return to in person and that the parameters of their health and safety is first and foremost on everybody's mind. So as it relates to that, yes. As it relates to the pause, I felt that it was the best decision to make given the realities right now.
And you're calling this a pause.
Yeah.
And so you could you go back at any time, or is November still the earliest?
No, I think that one of the things that we've shared with everyone is that we can say one thing today and actually change it tomorrow. I define that as the new normal. So we could actually start much sooner than the November deadline. But right now, we wanted to actually have everyone be able to plan accordingly. We can't be in a world where we're saying it changes like this from day to day. So I gave a broad parameter with the expectations of trying to get as close to in-person instruction as soon as we possibly can.
You do have some concerns. I'm sure you looked at every issue. You do have some concerns about children that go to school for 2 of their meals and there might be nutritional problems, about parents that count on schools so they can go to 1, possibly 2 jobs, and many, many other health issues and society issues about leaving your child at school, at home.
Yeah, well, I one of the things that the initial part of your question helped me think about. My colleagues all throughout New Jersey are under the most stressful of situations, making the decision to say a student should or shouldn't come back to school and say that health and safety is a big factor has been part of our new normal. In Newark, the school system has distributed already over 810,000 meals, and in partnership with the city of Newark, we are days away from being able to announce that we've distributed 2 million meals to not only the children, the families, but the residents of the city of Newark. So we know that we're in a situation that will require us to be very, very creative and making sure that we build confidence with our staff, with our families, and obviously with our students as we are moving aggressively forward.
Because the CDC did list many reasons why they believed it was more important for a child to go to school, that there were health risks at staying at home. You must have weighed that, and
absolutely. So everything under the sun, I would argue, are things that we considered. We have a number of students that are in medically compromised if in fact they were going to be returning back to school. So we knew that there were a number of students that a virtual experience was going to be in the realities in their best interest. We also have several thousands of students that take between 1 to 2 public transportation buses to actually get to school. And we know that there are complications with regards to how many people are going to be allowed on public transportation buses throughout the city of Newark as well. So those are multiple factors that we know in some instances parents completed the consent form to actually allow their children to remain on virtual instruction during this time period.
I don't envy the decision you had to make. I don't envy your job during this pandemic. Is it a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation, and you go with whatever the safest alternative is?
Well, I think that ultimately at the end, any decision that's made is going to help and favor some versus others. Ultimately, the assessment of being able to educate children and do it very, very well is at our focus and at the center. But today, with this crisis, this global pandemic, there is a different question that we are asked in schools to answer, and that is, does the health and safety of the children in conflict with the academic program, which one weighs more? And in Newark, we choose the health and safety of our students and staff.
One last question, Sarah. Are you concerned about the digital divide and that some children will not be able to learn from home?
Absolutely. I believe that that is a very serious issue. And in Newark, I think that our parents, as well as our teaching staff, have done an absolutely incredible job. Parents in Newark making sure that at their homes, they had the technology to assist us is part of the divide.
Well, Sarah, thank you so much. Again, I don't envy your job at this point. And you're not alone. As I said, 133 more school districts are joining you. So it seems to be the majority opinion that you're doing the right thing. That was Roger Leone, Superintendent of Newark Public Schools. When we come right back, we're going to talk about the effect of the pandemic on the developmentally disabled in New Jersey. That's when Jersey Matters continues.